Hello successful souls, this is Jen Lillian helping online spiritual coaches with their online spiritual coaching business to supercharge the results in the next 90 days or less to success. Now this particular interview is taken from the Soul Central Summit that we held on Friday the 10th of June 2022 with the lovely Moira. So in this interview we're going to be diving deep into how to connect with your higher self, how to work from your higher self, and what is a powerful healing technique. So this is going to be great information for you if you are an online coach and you're wanting to find a few extra tips, tricks and strategies when it comes to your own business and also your own self-healing journey. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed the interview and I'll see you in the next video. Hello Moira.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm not used to this kind of thing, so I'm a bit like, whoa, but I'm okay.
No, that's absolutely fine. You're looking lovely today. Yes.
Look, I've got a kind of kimono snipe thing on.
I love it. I love it so much. Yes.
Fantastic.
Just to let you know, we are recording. So yeah, I've just let you in. So thanks ever so much, Moira, for coming. We are going live at the moment from YouTube. So if you are from YouTube right now, feel free to say hello. I've also just created a whole new event because Facebook kicked me off. So if you are tuning in from Facebook as a live video, then awesome. Lovely to see you there at the Soul Central Facebook group. And if you have registered for the first ever online Soul Central Summit, you are here possibly on the online call via Zoom on the link, or you could be watching the replay. So whichever version, make sure you do say hi. I really do appreciate everyone that comes in on the live or does watch the replay. It's awesome to see you and have you here with us today. So a little bit about the Soul Central online summit, and then we'll go over to you, Moira, with your awesomeness. And then if anyone did want to sort of find out more information and have any extra helps, tips and tricks when it comes to whatever it is that we talk about in the next half an hour, then feel free to message me either on the channel that you are on right now, but the best bet really is to catch me on Facebook. So I am and can be found under Jen Lillian, and that's with 2 L's for Lillian, Jen Lillian. So yes, as mentioned, like today is the first ever online spiritual summit for Soul Central, and I'm super excited just because I feel, hello Catherine again, good to see you. I feel I have gathered the awesome coaches that have basically touched my life in some way, shape or form. Like you guys, from the bottom of my heart, have really helped me in leaps and bounds when it comes to just so many different areas of my business, but more so my business, because I know that my soul's purpose is to do, you know, the whole business thing. For those who are just completely brand new to me and my world and Soul Central and the coaches that we have on today, my backstory is I've been in business now for 10 years in August. So I started out as an indoor cycling instructor, and then I set up my first 2 indoor cycling studios in Shanghai, China. And then I came to Leeds in 2014 and I set up another 2, but my 2 then failed. And that was right at the same time I was becoming a mum and everything else. So I do have, you know, sort of authority when it comes to business. And this is where, when I changed my niche like 6 months ago, because I naturally gravitated from health, fitness and wellness to now the spiritual side, this is where the coaches that you're going to be seeing today, guys, whether it's live on the replay, have helped me. And in what ways am I talking about? I've really learned a lot about energy work, more so in the last 6 months. And Moira, you have helped me on so many levels. We're going to go into a deep dive into what you do in a moment. But energy has always been there. But I think when you're growing up as a kid, it's not really spoken about, depending on what corner or what circle you are around and when you grow up. So what you've taught me over the time I've known you, because I'm a mum of a 6-year-old, I now pass over to him. So it's like infectious, all the work that you do, all the stories that you have to say, and your just understanding of things that are just going on that you don't really know about growing up as a kid, I now pass on to my son. So I just wanted to say, Maura, thank you for all that you do so far and the impact and the dent you've made in my world for the better, because I just hang off your every word, everything you say about, you know, the planets out there, and, you know, where we come from when it comes to like talking about star seeds and that sort of thing. It just enriches me, and I'm waking up, you know. I'm one of those new people that have just, you know, just stumbled across this. I've always been spiritual, I feel, but yeah, more so it's been accelerated by the help of yourself and others on this call today. So thank you, Moira. We are here. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, did you have anything to say? Sorry. Yeah.
No, just lovely to be here. Really lovely energy today, and it's a pleasure to be here.
I didn't even realise I didn't even have my video on. There you go. You
Don't
can
worry.
see
I was thinking I'm going to be talking to your photo, even though it's a very beautiful photo, but I prefer talking to you.
Of course, yeah. I'll have to make a note next time I jump on the live. Yeah, so we are here today, you and I, Moira, to basically learn and discover really the ancestral blocks, and the blocks that are sort of making it difficult and challenging for whether it's your life or your business or both, basically. And because if you are dealing with blocks and challenges in your life, it can spill over to your personal life if it is like a challenge that you face in your business, or vice versa really, but this is more so on the business side for the whole call today. But you do a lot of work around higher self. Now, higher self is a term that I would think that even the majority would have like known about or heard about, or maybe have some idea about. But when it comes to the higher self or your higher self, who are we and what are we actually referring to, Moira?
So the higher self is your basically your soul's consciousness. So your body obviously houses your soul, but your higher self is there with you this life, past lives, knows everything about you, knows how to help you forward, and is in contact with God's source, whatever you'd like to call it, angel of grace. So it has this divine knowledge at all times, and it can help you, but it can't necessarily just step in. Because of free will, you have to basically ask it for its help. So connecting to your higher self is a really good exercise to be able to get into in order to access this plethora of information, a very, very, you know, the highest frequency information that you can get hold of to help you shift blocks in this life and help you to be all that you are and at the highest frequency that you can be as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you sound very connected already. Have you always been this way? Have you always been like an open spiritual person since a kid? Like, maybe tell us more about your journey, your story growing up and stuff.
Yeah, so I started really when I was about 12. My sister had a book on reincarnation, and I was brought up Catholic, but I didn't know that reincarnation and Catholicism didn't go at the time. But honestly, it just felt so natural when I read this book, and it resonated with me. So that was my first kind of moment of realizing there was something different to just you're on this earth, and if you're a sinner you go to hell, and if you're good you go to heaven. And then when I was 21, I moved to Brighton. I moved away from home. I left my degree in the last year because it all just started just crumbling down basically. And then when I moved to Brighton, I then went through my darkest night where I knew that I was going through some kind of spiritual shift, although I had no mentor to talk to me about it. So I had no idea what this was, but I knew that if I didn't move out of this house or this situation that I was in, which wasn't a horrible situation, that I would go through some kind of crisis, and I did. And at that point, my friend, who's not very spiritual at all, or wasn't at that time, because this is many years ago now, she said, I've booked you into this spiritual fair. So I went with my then boyfriend. There was a lady talking basically about the darkest night and all of this. I just sat there kind of going, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm going through. So afterwards, whilst we were in another talk, she was sitting there, and I kind of just shimmied up to her and asked her, does this feel like this is the darkest night of the soul for me? And she said, yes, everything I've described. And it just made me feel like, oh, I'm not alone. This is a normal thing for spiritual people. There's probably most people on the earth, unless you've only been here, say, a few times and you're not at that point yet, because we're all at different stages. And then I met this lovely lady called Letty, who had a crystal stand there, who taught crystal healing, crystal therapy. And my boyfriend then held a crystal and then passed it to me. And she said, oh no, I need to check if I need to cleanse it first. And she said, oh, it doesn't need cleansing. That's unusual, because normally when you work with crystals, if someone touches it, the crystal already starts to work to clear you. But for some reason, it didn't need clearing. And it was then when I held that crystal that then everything, and from that day, it started kind of flooding in. So this love of crystals, this love of meditation. Because I then over the next few years, then got my own flat. I then did my crystal therapy course and broke up with that then boyfriend, so I was going through all this massive turmoil. But doing the crystal therapy, crystal healing just kept me on a really, really as even keel as you possibly can do when you're going through like a really deep breakup, and you're also going through, you know, coming out of the darkest soul, you know, darkest night, I should say. So yeah, and then since then I have done lots of different healing modalities. So I've done vortex healing work, which I still use now. So I work very much with Merlin in my work, and I create structures, that kind of thing, which is amazing for healing work. And I also did Rouhani celestial healing, and more recently, and other modalities as well, but more recently I trained with Catherine, who's on the call now, from Abundance Magic, for Akashic Records and also Merkaba. So I teach Merkaba, and I also read Akashic Records, and I bring in my Akashic Records as well when I do my channeled healings, anything like that. So it feels now, for the moment, I feel as though it's like a beautiful, complete package. But has it always been that I felt awakened? No, not at all. I think it's been quite a long road. And obviously, you know, I got married and had children, you know, very happily. And I think that the healing, although I've always still done the healing, it has kind of taken a bit of a sideline, because I had to, you know, I was looking after my kids all the time and there for them all the time. So I had the privilege of being able to do that. But now that they're a bit older, I'm now fully plugged in to like, right, come on then. I want to go and heal, you know, heal the world. I know I can't, but, you know, just help people to raise their awareness massively and help them go from the 3D shift that the earth is going from to the 5D shift. And that's pretty much my mission.
Yeah, fantastic, great share. I mean, when you were in Brighton at the time, it's probably a very good thing that you were, because Brighton, I can only imagine, is just one of those hubs in the UK that everyone's just a little bit quirky and different, and just like, yeah, they do what they do, right? So that's the impression I get of Brighton.
Yeah. It's definitely got very, very, it's actually Aquarius city, I've been told, and I'm Aquarius, so that's probably why I really enjoyed it. But it also can be very fluctuating in energy. It's not necessarily very grounded, and I think I suit better to be like where I am now, which is Middlesex, with lots of greenery and grounding, as well as water as well. But no, it's an amazing place to live, really good fun.
Is it matched up with like Sedona? I think Sedona is a place as well where the energies are right, and you end up having that collaboration with spiritual people. I think that's the Sedona of the UK, isn't it? Brighton, possibly.
Might be. I haven't been to. Yeah, sorry, I haven't been to Sedona, so I don't know. But maybe.
Okay, fair enough. I've never actually been to Sedona myself, but yeah, I do find there are, I mean, off topic here, but there are certain places where you can go where you just feel connected, right? In my experience, I definitely felt connected to London, definitely felt connected to Shanghai when I first got there. Where I am right now with my boyfriend, I don't feel that connected to this place, but you know, it's good to have that contrast. You know, sometimes you can just turn up to somewhere and just go, wow, I like this. And whether you can articulate it or not, maybe you needed to be there for a certain person to meet, or a certain session for you to attend or something. So yeah, it's good that it sounds like Brighton. Would you agree, disagree, sort of started things off for you? Would you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was bringing stuff up before I had any relationship issues, and then I had relationship issues, and it was just like, I think I think what it was is that all the stuff I hadn't been able to work on when I was a child, because I didn't have the tools or the mentor or the healers, was then just coming straight up into my face, especially because when I did my degree, I did illustration, and really looking back, I should have done fine art. I should have listened to my teacher who said, do fine art. Didn't listen to him, because I like to think I know best, you know, not all the time, but I did then. And yeah, it just brought up a lot of self-esteem and self-worth, and kind of not really listening to yourself, being disempowered. So not just from this life, this would have been from past lives as well. So I think it all just came up. So it was actually divine timing now, looking back, as I always say, when you look back, it was a really good thing that I split up with my then boyfriend. I then went fully into healing, did part-time work, had my own flat. You know, it was actually an idyllic setup really for being able to go into spiritual awakening of that time, because that was obviously a long time ago, and the energies now are a lot faster and more vigorous than they were then. So you can achieve a lot more in a shorter space of time now than I could then. Before, when I was in Brighton, it did feel as though I was a bit in kind of molasses. When you're trying to create something, it felt as though it took years for me to create what I wanted to create. Whereas now things happen faster.
That's because of where we are right now on Earth, in terms of like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And also, it was also my path as well. I remember having a reading from a lady, Leila Beck. I'm not sure if she's still with us or not, but she was an amazing reader. And she's basically said you're going to be single for 5 years, as in without your full-term partner for 5 years. I was thinking, no, I don't think she's right, but she was right. I didn't meet my now husband for 5 years, but my brain couldn't accept that at the time because I was only 25. I was thinking, what? You know? So yeah, so it was, but yeah, I remember trying to create things like moving to London from Brighton. And it just took ages. Everything just took so long. Whereas now things just seem to be a lot faster. Don't know if you've experienced that.
Fair enough. Yeah, sorry, Moira. It's good when you can look back and connect all those dots, you know, that person came into my life for that reason and that led to this and that, and here we are today. So yeah, it's all good. Lovely story. Okay, cool. So for those who are interested in connecting with their higher self, like how would you even begin to connect with your higher self? Because again, for most people, they wouldn't even know that it's important or a good thing for them to be in connection with their higher self. So what would you suggest there?
So there's a couple of ways of doing it. I mean, there's lots of ways of doing it, but there's one method that Catherine teaches and I teach as well, which is the higher self connection, which is part of Abundance Magic. So if anyone wants that link, it's a free whole page on exercises to do for 45 days in order to really connect with your higher self. And there's also a meditation on there called the Access meditation, which literally connects you to the crystalline core of Mother Earth. You then open your chakras, you then connect up to the sun behind the sun, bring down that beautiful energy. So you are already open and not in your normal state of not necessarily open. And then being in a meditative state really helps you to connect with your higher self, asking your higher self for help, so asking questions to your higher self, specifically, higher self, I have this issue, what can you advise me to do? And then your higher self can come in more easily. But it's about having just that stillness of the mind. And so, for example, I quite often will work with my higher self by doing crystal meditation, just by holding the crystal. I teach how to do this. So if anyone needs to know that, holding a crystal, just feeling it going into your body, feeling really relaxed, and your mind is going into that still point state. And then you can ask your higher self or even the crystal a question, and it will start coming through. I find that a really effective way to meditate when you're working with a crystal, because you can't help but be able to switch off quite well when you're working with crystals. Obviously, I'm like, I've been described as the crystal lady before. I'm sure I'm not the only crystal lady, obviously, because there's lots of us, which is lovely. But I just resonate really well with them. But even just holding a crystal in your hand for 5 minutes a day, you're going to then start tuning in. And then, as I said, that 45-day exercise is really good one of just asking your higher self just basic questions to begin with, and starting to trust in your higher self, a yes, no, or neutral answer for your questions. And then you can start going in and asking more in-depth questions as well. And things like, for example, when you're working from your higher self, this is a really good example that Catherine gave, was imagine you are about to get into a traffic accident, but you avert it. That's your ego that literally is protecting you, because your ego is set up to protect you, and from past traumas it learns, okay, how can I protect her best? But your higher self, if you were in contact with it and you weren't meant to be in the car crash, would have stopped you going in that direction in the first place. So that's a really good example of how the difference is between the two.
Okay, I would love your seal of approval, because as you mentioned earlier, there are many different ways of connecting to your higher self. So before I met yourself and Catherine, I was told to connect to my higher self by standing up and asking a question, whatever it is it might be, and then yes, if we were to move forward, would be the yes, sorry, and then moving back would be, is that
yeah,
okay?
That's a really good one. That's the kinesiology one. So I actually use that when I do theta healing. So that's a really good way as well. And it's actually quite a foolproof way. But if you're asking lots of questions, by the time that you've swayed forwards and backwards a few times, you feel a bit dizzy. Or there's another one as well with kinesiology, which works for me. I don't know if everyone is allowed to do this for themselves, isn't it? I don't know if the kinesiologists recommend it, but if you put your arm out straight, so imagine it's in front of me, and a yes stays still and a no bounces. So you do that with your other fingers, so without prodding too much. And I found that one quite effective as well. But really straight your arm, so that it's kind of like it has a little bit of a bounce to it, but very straight. But yeah, that's also another way of doing it. But when you learn how to have symbols, for example, when you do the 45-day one, you learn, if you're visual, you get symbols. So for example, I'm more physical when I connect to my higher self for some reason, even though I'm a really visual person. So normally for me, it would be a yes would be my eyes kind of going down, a no would be a cross, and a maybe is them going in some kind of circular motion. But I've asked my higher self as well to give me symbols, because you can work with your higher self in that way of saying, give me a symbol or give me a physical sign. And with symbols, for me, they're very boring. It's just a green tick, a red cross, and a wavy line for if they're not sure, basically. So a neutral kind of answer. So you can play around with that.
So you see that in your third eye?
Yes, so I have my eyes shut. So everything I see is in my mind's eye. I don't see like auric fields or like that at this moment in time. It's probably for a reason. Maybe I will do in the future. But yeah, it's very, I'm more clairvoyant in that way.
Okay, oh, interesting. Yeah, okay, cool. It's nice to actually be in connection with your higher self, because something that Catherine and I touched upon on our call together. Hi, Sarah, by the way, just seeing you jumped on. Hello.
Hi. Good to see you.
Hey, okay, yeah, good to see you. Is like there's this theme, I think, before you sort of become, before you start waking up, I would say, you can feel quite lonely on earth. You have no idea why, or you know, why you're supposed to be here. And it's when you actually meet, I think, the right like-minded people that you start to feel connected. And I think when I found the 𝐀𝐓𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓 records, I then started to learn about my higher self, and everything just started to snowball. And it's just a nice, comforting feeling that you've got like these go-to tools in your toolbox, in your spiritual toolbox, that you can use should you feel stuck in your life, in your coaching business, whatever it is that it might be. So I really do appreciate everything that comes through from you guys, because I take it on, I'm like a sponge when I listen to you all. It's just so nice, and it's all positive, you know, tools that we can quite easily use, and you know, people have a lot of access to. Not so much crystals, that's obviously a little bit more different maybe to what people might be used to, but the whole like maybe leaning forward, leaning back, or what you just mentioned there about the arm, that's quite good. But obviously you must do things that you feel is natural to you. So I mean, Moira, if someone is really questioning about, like, you know, I really want to get in touch with my higher self, I feel it's important, I need to do it, and they don't really know the best way to do that for themselves, like, is that what you can help with? Like, for example, people do have, I think we all have our spiritual gifts, don't we? But people are obviously stronger in different ways than others, right? So you obviously are more visual, you say, you know, you do sometimes close your eyes and you see in your third eye. Yeah. How would you, maybe you can walk us through something, like how would you bring the best out of someone to connect with their higher self?
I would say it is about that meditation, so doing the access practice. So this is all on that lovely abundance magic site, and it's that 45-day of awakening. So it's the higher self connection is what it's called. And what you would do is you would do that for the 45 days, or if you're still struggling with the connecting with your higher self, that we actually do run a course as well. It's like either a one-to-one or in a workshop of how to really, really get in there and access the higher self. Quite often it's about, if someone is struggling, it would be maybe the ego is coming in and trying to say, no, you can't do it, you can't do it. Or it could be a past life block, or it could be a block from this life. Time there, but the safest and is probably most thorough way of doing it is by doing that 45-day exercise where you're asking questions every day from your higher self. But to be honest, when I started tuning into my higher self, I just got visuals straight away. So some people do, but it's really avoiding asking very important questions to begin with, because you need to learn to trust your higher self, and your ego needs to learn to trust your higher self. And whenever asking the question, you say higher self and not anything else, then you are literally, as soon as you say higher self, what is blah, 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 then you are connecting to your higher self. So it's very, very important. And just sitting there meditating. So I don't know if you've tried doing this, Jen, with the connecting of your higher self with your higher self. As long as you're in a really, really lovely meditative state, as I said earlier, if you've got a crystal in your hand, you're doing some lovely breathing exercises. You could even do mindfulness breathing. And when you feel that you're kind of like, okay, this is feeling really nice now, you haven't got many thoughts, you haven't got any worries, you're present in the moment, then you could go in and start asking higher self, should I go to the beach today? Or would it be wise for me to wait until tomorrow to go to the beach for whatever reason, if there was something that was going to stop you going to the beach? Say it was going to be stormy, or that the traffic would be bad. And it can then start giving you advice. But it's just building up on that trust, and it depends on where the person's at in their spiritual path, because some people get it like that and other people it takes longer, and that's absolutely fine. So whatever works best for you. But I'd definitely start with the 45-day training for sure. And just you can dip in and out with crystals as well. But I also do guided one-to-ones, as in I do one-to-one sessions with crystals. So that's a really nice way of kind of getting into and sensing crystals. And it's a nice way of letting your higher self come in with it being very flowy, non-rigid kind of method as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I like that. Yeah. I mean, most of the audience today will be an online coach. They've got either a spiritual practice or a practitioner, healer, or therapist. And there can be times, as we all are online coaches ourselves, where you just don't know where to turn. You feel overwhelmed. You have no idea what to do and who to turn to. That's when, if I'm right in saying, Moira, that's when you can connect to your higher self and get those questions answered. Is that right? Is that when?
Yes, but I'd say you would need to be in it. Sorry, you would need to be in a calm state. If you're in a flap, then anything, you know what I mean? Your ego could still try and put up a front if you were in a flap. So you would very, very much do breathing technique. So you could do the in for 4, out for 4, out for 6, that kind of thing for a short while, and then you could connect to your higher self. If you're not used to connecting to your higher self, then I would most probably do more of asking your higher self, right, higher self, I need help with this. Show me ways in which I can get through this. Show me new avenues, new people that can help me, or people that can help me, support me with this situation. And then you could sit there with a crystal, just literally just breathing, holding the crystal, make sure it's cleansed. And that will start calming you down. So that's a nice way of kind of, if you're in that moment, you just calm yourself down, do breathing, always breathing, crystal, and then you can ask your higher self. Or, it's just ideally not being in a flap when you're trying to communicate with your higher self, because it just doesn't really work as well.
Yeah, completely resonate with that, because we tend to find as online coaches, we are high achievers as a collective group of people, and the stress is usually not far away when it comes to running a business, and it's quite hard to sometimes just stop in your tracks and think about, okay, I need to start breathing deeply and just reset and calm down, recalibrate and get yourself centered again. And like you say, it's only then, after you've really centered yourself, you can then start asking questions to your higher self, should you need to. Yeah.
Sorry. And also being out in nature, forgot to say that, really, really important. So being out in nature with or without a dog, if you haven't got a dog, doesn't matter, and you're walking mindfully. So you're walking on the ground and you're imagining sending love to Mother Earth, and then receiving love from Mother Earth, really grounding, really connecting. And that there is also where you can connect to your higher self. So go for a long or a short walk, however long you feel you need to get all that stress out. So it could be even a power walk for 5-10 minutes. And then you sit down, find a spot, and then you just tune into Mother Earth, you tune into the trees around you, and then you can ask your higher self. So I think that would work quite well for people who are in a high stress situation like you are a lot of the time. Just get out there, do something physical, and then you can, your whole body can then really calm down, your mind can then calm down, and your soul can then just come in, and your higher self just goes, oh, right then, Jen, or whoever it is, this is what we need to do today. And I think a lot of people would find that method really, really good as well. But being out in nature.
Where were you years ago, Moira? Because like my life, even though I had very great success in my business when I refer to my time in China, but in terms of like these go-to techniques, I have nothing. Like I was on my own out with my husband for enough, but like just doing all the business stuff about no mentor, no coaches on you, like you online at Tap, it was just like I was doing everything. And when you haven't got the right mindset towards business, anyone I think can make money, but it's like dealing with the stress when it comes to running the business. And it's like, knowing what to do when you are experiencing heightened stress levels and anxiety. And obviously, I'm worst case scenario. My experiences of running multiple businesses led to business burnout and then depression. But I feel I'm now here to help other people don't get as far into that sort of dark rabbit hole. Like that's when I found my dark night of the soul, as you referred to at the beginning. That was my dark, couple of years it was experiencing all that sort of stuff. But now I've learned so much, and obviously what you guys are offering on this call, about the 6 hours today, is just so invaluable, because it would have just saved me back in those days my marriage, because unfortunately I lost my marriage over it. So if you are an online coach right now and you're just dealing with the stress and you're not too sure exactly where to turn when it comes to your business, like take on board what Moira is saying right now, because it's so important just to really just just breathe. And I remember when I saw my NLP practitioner at the time, because I was pregnant and everyone got really worried about me. Oh, I remember her saying to me, just learn to breathe. And I looked at her and I thought, you have no idea what's going on in my life. You're telling me to breathe. It was just, I was so like naive at the time, but really like the soundest advice ever. But I just wasn't there to listen to her at the time. I just didn't know what she meant really. Now I know. It's like, if I could, her name was Janet. It was Janet, and if I could see her now, I would have loved to say, I want to say thank you to her. But when you're really just stressed out and you've just got so much going on, like, you know, please just take on board, just take the time for yourself every day to relax, breathe, and connect with your higher self, because when you're in that connection, the flow comes through and your whole life just starts working again. And it's such a nice place to operate a business from, to have a relationship from, just to enjoy life from, right? So yeah, all good stuff. Yeah. Well, Moira, thank you ever so much. I can't believe it. Half an hour has like sped by and we've just been through so much already. You are awesome enough to be offering a gift. And just for those who are tuning in either from YouTube or Facebook and you haven't quite registered because you're not on the Zoom call or watching the replay, if you wanted to have access to the 7 amazing gifts from all the coaches we have today on the summit call, then feel free to register. Moira, you are here today as you have a gift. It's around channeling, right? You are offering a healing session, is that right? So it's a channel, it's a 𝐾𝐓𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓 record reading, but also with channeled bespoke meditation for the person, which is a healing as well. So I tend to do a bit of healing whilst I do the 𝐾𝐓𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓 records as well. And whilst they're in there, or whilst we're in, I'm in their records and their record keepers and guides are coming in, it gives us really beautiful clarity as to where they're at right now, what their soul, what their higher self wants them to be doing. And then we can work out a plan if they want a plan afterwards to help them progress in their business in every area of their life. So yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks ever so much for sharing that awesome gift with everyone. Again, if you do want that, feel free to register. You have until midnight tonight to register to get not only Moira's awesome gift, but all the other gifts that we have today for you to attend today's summit to say thank you, or if you are watching the replay. And again, as mentioned, please take on board what everyone does say here today throughout the 6 hours, because it's just such invaluable nuggets that you can, you know, just enjoy, use, shushes in your business that will make a huge difference in your life. Don't feel you're on your own. Don't feel stressed out. You don't need to. You are here to help others, but you need to help yourself before you can help others. And that's what we are all here for us to do, to help you first. So there we are. Excellent, Moira. Do you have anything else to say, or should we end it there? It's all fantastic. I was just going to say, I meant to say earlier, but activating my Merkaba, when I activated that, also made a humongous difference. So myself and Catherine, who was on just now from Abundance Magic, both teach the Merkaba. And the difference between not having my Merkaba activated to having it activated has been literally colossal. And all the doors that were shut before have opened, and I feel completely aligned. And I feel very much more 5D than 3D. So I can cope a lot better with all of the frequencies coming in. So that was the important thing to say about that and your higher self, because my higher self connection now is so much stronger. And that's, so it's been amazing. Yeah, great final points made. Definitely, I would definitely vouch for that as well. So awesome. Again, thanks very much. Yeah, we'll end it there. And for those who want to continue watching, we have the lovely Heather Prince at 1:45, and we'll be talking about your struggles with a relationship, if that's where you are right now. But thanks again, Moira. Appreciate you. And thank you. Yep, see you soon, everyone. Thank you. Many thanks for watching this video. If you're a coach, healer, therapist or practitioner and would like to supercharge your online coaching business, then feel free to hit the link below in the description box where you can receive the successful 6-figure soul roadmap and training. It walks you through step by step on how to start, build and grow your online coaching business to success. See you in the next video.